So today's discussion is on the basis of array. Okay. So what is array? First of all, we should know what is array, why this is required. Then only it will be helpful for us to do all the different kinds of problems. Clear? So initially, when we have started programming, we are having a concept that we need to store the value. Okay. So what we have done, we have declared a variable, we are storing the value. Okay. So in the background, what is being done? The name has been given, location has been given, and one value has been stored. Clear? Now, when my first objective is over, that I can store a value in a variable, then the next thing will come to my mind. Okay, that can I do the okay? So the problem with single variable, that whenever you are storing a single value in the variable, I can store like this. Okay. So the next objective or next requirement, that I want to store multiple values in a single variable. So by thinking that, what I have done, I have written a equal to 10. So what is my objective? My objective is to store multiple values in a single variable. But unknowingly what I have done, the old value I have deleted. How? The new value is now overwriting the old value. Okay. So fine, how I will know? Because when I will print the value of A, what I will expect? I will expect both 5 and 10 should be my output, but the output will be 10. Clear? So this is what the problem we are facing by keeping the multiple values in a single variable. So now the question comes, how I can store, okay? How I can store multiple values, okay? How I can store multiple values in one variable, okay? So this is the question or the problem that you are facing currently, that how I can store multiple values in a single variable. Clear? Now the next concept comes as a solution, that is my array. Okay. So through array, I can store multiple values in a single variable. How? The syntax says that data type, okay, array name, then within square bracket you have to provide the size, means total number of values you want to store. Okay. So for example, suppose I want to store multiple values of integer type, then I will declare how int, then any array name I can provide 5. Clear? So whenever I am declaring like this, what will happen? Internally I am requesting for storing 5 different values. So 5 blocks of integer, okay, 5 blocks of integer will be provided to me to store 5 values, and the name of the variable will be error. Okay. Now the next thing, like 5 values are there, so I have to uniquely identify every value. So for that, internally the indexing will be done from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks are being allocated sequentially. Clear? 5 blocks of integer values to store memory are being allocated sequentially. How will know that it is sequential? For example, suppose the starting location is 1000 and value is of which type? Integer. So if integer value I will store, then each block will be of 4 byte, for example. So the next block will be 1004, 1008, 1012, 1016. Clear? Done. So these are the positions or the index how the memory will be allocated. Clear? Now see, I have requested for 5 blocks. Okay, I have requested for 5 blocks. Now 5 blocks of memory are being allocated to me. But what is the variable name? Only a single variable name, that is error. Okay, any variable name you can say, A, B, C, D also you can provide, not a problem. Clear? But memory will be allocated sequentially. That means consecutive memory locations are being allocated to store similar type of value. That means now you can say what is array. Array means it's a contiguous memory allocation to store similar kind of values. Clear? So this is what your array. Array is nothing but it's a contiguous memory allocation to store similar kind of values. Remember this word. It's a similar type kind of values. That means array is also a homogeneous data type. Homogeneous means the similar type of value you can store as for the data type. Clear? So if you are declaring the array as integer type, then only integer values can be stored in different locations. Okay, and the locations, the memory allocation will be done sequentially. And remember, array index always starts from 0. Why array index starts from 0? We'll discuss in our second lab. Clear? But array index starts from 0. Done. So total concept of array means you need to store multiple values in a single variable. So you are declaring array. Okay. Then you have to specify which type of values you want to store. Now you want to store integer type of values. Done. So according to that, the memory allocation will be done. You have requested for 5 blocks. 5 blocks of memory will be allocated. Sequencing, the starting index will be 0 and sequentially the indexing number will be given. Okay. Next is how you will know that consecutive memory allocation is done. Now for example, if the starting block address is 1000, each block is of integer type, so 4 byte of memory will be allocated sequentially. Clear? So this is what the basics of array, that how you will declare array and how the memory allocations are being done, how the indexings are done. Okay. Now by using the concept of array, how I will write the program. Clear? So write a program to declare, we'll go sequentially by easy programs. Write a program to declare an array. Okay, you can say integer array and take input, display the values. Okay, so now we should know how to declare one array, how to take input and how to display the values. Okay. Done. Check. I am declaring integer array of 5. Clear? So what is being done in the background? As per our discussion, 5 blocks of memory are allocated. Draw some diagram so that you can understand. Okay, while solving the problem. Suppose the starting location is 1000, next one will be 1004, 1008, 1012, 1016. These are the memory allocation. Okay. What is the name of the array? Error. Okay. So till now, as per our discussion, once the declaration has been done, this is what done in the background. That one, as per request, 5 blocks of memory are being given to me. Then array index is starting from 0. On the basis of the starting location, now 4 byte is added because of integer data type. Clear? Now I'll take the input. See, in first index I'll take the input. In second index I'll take the input. So that means the same work I am doing repeatedly. Yes or no? And we have studied that to avoid repetition. Clear? To avoid repetition of the same code, let's write loop. Okay. So let's use loop. How to use loop in array? Check. For loop I am telling. I'll start taking input from which index? 0. So my index will be starting from 0. Clear? I'll go up to what? 4. How I'll know that the last index is 4? Because the size is 5. So index less than 5. Index plus plus. Okay. Printf enter value. Then scanf. At a time one value can be taken as input. Where to store the value? So address of array of index. What is the meaning of this statement? Let's understand. Then we'll go ahead. Okay. Check. So index equal to 0. So now who is pointing 0? Now I am pointing. Index is pointing to now 0. Clear? 0 less than 5. True or false? True. True means it will enter to the block of for loop. Enter. What it is asking? Enter value. Suppose I am entering the value 20. Clear? I am entering the value 20. Where to store 20? Because this percentage D is my 20. So I need one address. So address is specified here. Now check. What is the value of index here? 0. So array of 0. Array of 0 means this block. This is what my array of 0. Okay. This is how I will access the value in array. If I will write array of within bracket 0, that means this first block I am accessing. Clear? If I will write array of 3, that means this block I am accessing. Okay. So in scanf, I have to provide the address sequentially. So one by one, the index value is incrementing. So index equal to 0. I am starting. I am checking 0 less than 5. True. Entering. Enter the value. So I am entering 20. Where to store 20? That is telling array of zeros address. Okay. Array of zeros address. This is my array of 0. Already I have told you. Clear? Its address means 1000. That means I am specifying that you store 20 at 1000 location. Clear? So what to do? Like inside array of 0 location, I will store 20. Clear? Okay. After taking the first input, the body gets executed. You know what is for loop. After the body will execute, next index plus plus. So index will become 1. So previously index was 0. Now index will become 1. So let's index 1. 1 less than 5. True or false? True. Again enter. Enter value. Suppose I am entering 30. 30 means now what is the value of index? Index value is 1. So I am providing the address of array of 1. So what is the address of array of 1? 1004. So that means I am specifying that you should store 30 at 1004 location. So 30 will directly go to 1004 location. Clear? Similarly, index again will be incremented. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. So 2 less than 5. True. That means currently my index is pointing to 2. Clear? Again 2 less than 5. True. Enter value. So in place of this address due to my index is changing, let the value I am entering as 10. So where 10 will be stored? What is the index? Index is 2. So array of 2's address. Array of 2's address means 1008. Clear? So 10 will be stored at 1008 location. After that, index plus plus, index become 3. Okay? 3 less than 5. True. Again enter. Suppose I am entering the next value. Clear? I am entering the next value. So what is the next value? Suppose 50. What is index? Index is 3 currently. Done. Index is now pointing to 3. So array of 3's address. What is array of 3's address? 1012. So I am specifying that you should store 50 at 1012 location. Clear? So directly in 1012 location, value 50 will be assigned. Clear? After that, index plus plus. So now 3 plus 1 will be 4. 4 means instantly my index will point to the 4th index. 4 less than 5. True. True means again it will enter the for loop. It will ask for enter value. So once you will enter value, let's my value is 60. In which index? Not in 3. Index is currently 4. So array of 4's address means 1016. So 60 will be stored at 1016 location. After that, index plus plus. So 4 plus 1 will become 5. 5 less than 5, false. Once it is false, you will come out of the for loop. Here, this is how you will take input into the array. That means multiple values you can take input in a single variable. As for your request, multiple memory will be allocated, multiple blocks of memory will be allocated depending on the data type. Sequential memory will be allocated. Then multiple values you will take input inside a loop. Instead of writing the block repeatedly, you can write down the same statement by using a loop. Okay, so any kind of loop you can use, but it will be better to understand for array. I have used for loop. Okay, so I have started the journey of index from 0, and as for the condition, it will move one by one. Okay, on the basis of true condition, it will enter. The input value will be taken as input, and then you are storing sequentially one by one. Okay, done. Now, initially to understand array and how to take input is a little bit difficult task. But once you write 2 to 3 programs, you can understand. Now this is what array is all about. Okay. Now check. So once the array has been taken as input, how I will know that whether the value is successfully has been taken as input? That means I have to display the content of the array. Okay. So how to display? I will print the values of array. From where I will start the printing? I will start printing from the 0th index. Okay. So I will write printf /n. The values are. Okay. All of you have understood that the use of /n is only for the next line. Clear? Now, how many values I have to print? 5 values. So that means instead of writing 5 printf statement, I can use only one printf statement. So for index equal to 0, because array printing will start from index 0. So index equal to 0. Index less than size index plus plus. Okay. And inside that, I'll print the values. So printf %d, while executing, give a space. Okay, so that the values will be printed with a space so that you can distinguish the values. What you will print? Now I will print array of index. This is totally same as your printf scanf single statement. What we are doing here, you are implementing array. That's why just we are using this bracket along with one variable index. Okay. So in scanf we need to provide ampersand. In printf we don't require. That is the difference all of you know till now. Okay. As it is array, so you are using a array name. I am using the array name. And multiple values you are printing from which index? From 0 to the last. That's why you are using a variable index. So that array of 0 will be printed, array of 1 will be printed, array of 2 will be printed, array of 3 will be printed, array of 4 will be printed. And once index value will become 5, clear? Index value will become 5. I have wrongly written size. Once it will be 5, then 5 less than 5 false. Then no more value is going to be printed. Because let's execute this one so that you can understand. Check. Okay. So index variable. I have taken the help of index variable. Index equal to 0. So currently index is pointing to 0. 0 less than 5. True or false? True. Enter. Percentage the array of 0. What is array of 0? The value are present over there. So value is what? 20. Clear? After that index plus plus. So index plus plus will become 1. 1 less than 5. True. Enter. Next you are printing array of 1. What is array of 1? 30. Clear? After that again index plus plus. Value will become 2. 2 less than 5. True. Again enter. Array of 2. What is array of 2? 10. So value 10. After that index plus plus. It will become 3. 3 less than 5. True. Enter. Print array of 3. What is array of 3? 50. It should come in a single line. The space is not there, so I am writing below. Okay. So after that index plus plus 3 plus 1 will become 4. 4 less than 5. True. Enter. Print array of 4. What is array of 4? 60. So print 60. Clear? After that index plus plus. So finally index become what? Now 5. 5 less than 5. False. Come out of the for loop. Then exit from main. Okay. Now why I have kept this printf outside the loop? If I will put inside the loop, it will print repeatedly. So that's why I have kept the printf outside only once. So it will show me the values are then the total list of values. Okay. So this is what the simple program of array, that how to declare one array. This is what known as array declaration. Okay. This is known as declaration of array. Okay. This is known as input to the array. This is display the content of array. Here, simple. As per your declaration, memory will be allocated. Indexing will be given from 0 onwards. Memory will be allocated sequentially. Clear? On the basis of the data type of the array. After that, whenever you will take input, you will take input from 0th index. Maximum you can go depending on the size of the array. Okay? And you are just implementing because you are moving ahead. Then similarly, while printing, you are doing the same thing. Okay. Now, once you solve some more problems on array, you can understand what is actually the meaning of array. Okay. Now check the application of array. I am telling. Suppose multiple students are present in a single class. Okay. I need to store the roll numbers. So how many variables I'll use? Suppose there are 60 students are there. So roll number 1, variable will store roll number 1. Roll number 2 variable I will store in roll number 2. So similarly, I have to declare 60 variables to store 60 values. Yes or no? But the problem is what? Now, as a programmer, till now, if you have done the assignment regularly, you can realize to deal a single variable is very difficult in programming. Okay? If you are declaring 60 variables to store 60 values of the same type, then how difficult it will be to handle the variable, because somewhere the printing will be mistake, somewhere the usage of the variable will be difficult. So to avoid everything, this particular problem, what I am declaring, I have to store integer values. So why not you are declaring a single variable, roll number, and making it 60. So a single variable can manage my 60 values. This is what the application of array. Clear? Previously, you have found out average of 5 marks or 5 numbers. What you have done? You have declared 5 variables to store mark. I will declare integer, mark, or float, whatever you can use. 5. That means a single variable now can store 5 values. Clear? So this is what the application of stack, to avoid multiple values for a same purpose or to store similar kind of values. I can declare a single variable which can do the operation for me. Okay. Now, on the basis of this concept, let's write a single program. Write a program to find sum and average of n numbers. Okay. Now here I am not specifying what is the value of n. That means what? I want user will take the input during the execution time. Clear? The computer or the operating system will ask you how many values you want to add. Okay. Whatever value I will take input, on the basis of that my input and operations will be done. Clear? So to solve this problem, I know that I have to find the sum and average of n numbers of same type. Clear? So I am using integer. Clear? Or all, okay, not a problem. Integer. Clear? Integer array of 30. So I am declaring a larger size. What will happen? Memory will be allocated as per our rule. How many blocks will be allocated? The 0 to 29. Because 30 I have declared, so 0 to 29 blocks of memory will be allocated. What will be the name of the variable? Error. Okay. It's not about error. Any variable name we can provide. Okay. If the starting location will be 2000, as I am dealing integer and suppose the size is 4 byte, the next block size will be 2004. Next one will be 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020. Similarly, the memory will be allocated. Clear? Okay. But whenever I am declaring 30, is it compulsory to take all 30 as input? Let me check. So let me give you an example. Suppose once you will do job, you will save some money, and now you are thinking to buy a plot at your place. Okay. Suppose you are buying 3000 square feet of a plot. Okay. Now, whenever the total plot belongs to you, is it compulsory that in the entire 3000 square feet of plot, you will build your home? Not necessary. I can build in 2000 square feet, rest I can use for garden. Okay. I can build 1500 square feet, rest I can use for playground, garden, whatever. But the concept says that, or as per the rule of the government, whatever the amount of plot you have purchased, maximum that much you can use for building your home. If you are going beyond that, then problem will occur. Okay. So similarly, whenever you are declaring 30, means maximum 30 blocks are allocated to you. You can use as per your convenience, but not beyond 30. Clear? This is what the meaning of array. Okay. So if I don't want to use the entire 30 blocks, then I have to use one variable and I have to ask the user that how many blocks actually you want to operate. If I am giving more than 30, that means that is a problem. Clear? But if I am giving below 30, then it is acceptable. So let me check what actually I can do and how I can handle this situation. Okay. So if I want to take the input from the user, so I will store in a variable. I am declaring a variable size. Okay. I know I have to do the operation index. Okay. So printf, I am asking the user first, enter the size of array. Okay. Scanf, clear? Percentage ampersand size. Done. What is the meaning of this statement? See, total 30 blocks are allocated to me. I am having this entire memory. Okay. But I don't want to take 30 values at a time for input. What I need, I am using or I am asking the user, what is your requirement? Okay. If I take input size as 6, that means I want to use this much of memory for my operation. Here, where 6 blocks are allocated for me. Okay. If I enter size as 5, that means up to 4. If I am declaring the size as 10, so 0 to 9. If I am declaring the size as 20, 0 to 19. If maximum, I can take the value for size 30. Okay. So how many values actually I want to operate, that variable I am taking as input here. Okay. So my total operation, my total program depends on the size variable, because I will operate only that much of memory. Clear? So how I will take the input? All of you know. For I will start index from which point? Index equal to 0. How much I will operate out of 30? This depends on the size variable. So if size is 6, that means I want to operate up to 5. So check, less than 6 means index will, this condition will be true till what? Till 5. So 0 to 5 I can operate. Once index value will become 6, then that problem will start. So index plus plus. Okay. Done. I will ask the user printf enter value scanf percentage ampersand array of text. Okay. Visakha. So ampersand array of index. Clear? So what I will do again? Now by using, okay. So by using this for loop, I have taken input in my array. How? Let's just review the concept again. So index equal to 0. Yeah. 0. What is my size? Size of the array is 6. So 0 less than 6 is true. True means enter value. Okay. So enter value means array of 0. I am providing the value what? 10. So address of array of 0. So my value is here 10. Here. After that, index plus plus, my index will become 1. 1 less than 6, true. True means again enter value. So 20. 20 means this is array of 1's address. So 20 will be stored at array of 1. Clear? Then index plus plus, it will become 2. 2 less than 6. Enter the value. So whatever value will provide, it will go to array of 2's index. So 30. Clear? Index plus plus, index will become 3. 3 less than 6. True. Enter the value. It will go to address of array of 3. So 40. After that, 3 will become 4. 4 less than 6. True. Enter value. Address of 4. So value will be, let value will be 50. After that, index will become 5. 5 less than 6. True. Enter the value. It will go to array of 5 location. Let the value is 60. After that, 5 will become 6. 6 less than 6. False. False means come out of the for loop. Because your work is over. Clear? I am concentrating on 6 values. So I am taking the value input for 6 numbers. Okay? Done. Now what is my objective? Once my input is over, I'll find the sum and average. Clear? So whenever I am finding sum and average, I need to declare 2 variables. Okay? So let my variables are float, sum and average. I am declaring. Clear? Okay? So how to find the sum of all the numbers in array? I don't know how many numbers are there because I am writing currently program. This 6 I will take input at the time of execution. Okay? So that means I know that I can start from 0 and I can maximum go up to my size. Okay? So 0 to size, all the index values I have to add. Okay? So how to add those values? Now I have to again take the help of for loop once more, because I know that I can start my index from 0. Index will maximum go up to size and then index plus plus. Okay? So here I can write sum equal to, like you are writing sum of digits of a number. How you are writing? Every digit you are adding with sum and you are updating your sum. So here sum equal to sum plus array of index, because every time starting from index 0, okay, starting from index 0 till the last one, every value will come one by one, will be added with sum and the sum will be updated. But while doing this kind of problem, what I have told you, you have to initialize sum as 0. Okay, otherwise you will get some garbage value. So now how the execution will be done, all of you know. Index will start from 0, size is 6. Clear? 0 less than 6, true, enter. Sum is initially 0. Array of 0. What is array of 0? The value 10. So 10 will be added with 0 and sum will be updated as 10. After that, index plus plus, so 0 will become 1. 1 less than 6, true. Now coming inside, sum is now what? 10 and you are adding the value of array of 1. What is array of 1? 20. 20 will be added with 10 and the value will be updated as 30. Clear? After that, index plus plus, index will become 2. 2 less than 6, true. Enter. What is the value of sum? This is 30 currently. What is array of 2? Array of 2 is 30. So 30 plus 30, sum will currently become 60. After that, index plus plus, index will become 3. 3 less than 6, true. Again, come outside, so inside. Currently my sum is 60. You are checking array of 3. Array of 3 is 40. So 40 will be added with 60 and the value will become 100. Clear? Now check every value sequentially in by incrementing index, it will go up to index 5. Once index will become 6, 6 less than 6, condition false. Come out of the for loop. Okay. This is how I will add all the numbers of array. Okay, one by one. The same statement I have written, just in a different syntax. Clear? Outside the for loop, I need to find the average. How to find average? The average equal to sum by 5. Clear? Okay, sum by 5. Now after that, you can write down the printf statement. Printf is not about 5. Okay, because how many values I have operated? I have operated depending on the variable size. Clear? So the total sum by size. Size means the total number of values you have taken as input. Okay, or you have taken as input the value. So sum by size. Clear? So finally you will get the okay. So sum by size you will find average. Now you can print the values. How you will print? That sum equal to percentage f sum and printf average equal to percentage f and variable name is avg. Okay, and then your main function will be over. Clear? First you are taking in, first you are declaring the array. Okay, then you are taking how many values actually you want to operate, because someone will ask you, sir, why then you are declaring size, why you are not declaring the value you want, because you don't know what is the user's mind during the execution. So I am taking a larger value and then I am asking the user currently what is your mood, how many values you want to actually operate. On the basis of that you are taking the input. Okay, then on the basis of that input you are doing the operation. Clear? What is the operation? Sum of the values. After for loop over, I know sum is being calculated, so I am finding the average. Okay, as per the requirement I am finding the average. Okay, so once average I am finding, then I am printing the sum, printing the average. Clear? So this is how you will write down the program by using array. Okay, simple. You are declaring array and you are taking the input for array. Okay. So one more program I will write by using array, then you can understand. Clear? Write a program to find largest among n numbers. Clear? Now this example you can relate that there are 10 students are there. I want to find who is the tallest one. Clear? So what will happen? Now 10 students are there. I want to find the tallest means first student. I'll assume this is my tallest student. First student. Okay. I'll take that student to the second student. I'll compare the height. If still first student is taller, then my assumption is correct. I'll take that first student to the third student. I'll again compare the height. If I found that the third student is taller than the first one, then I'll leave first. I'll pick up third. That this is my tallest. Then I'll take the third student to the fourth student. Then I'll compare the height. I got that fourth student is taller than the third. I'll leave third. I'll pick up fourth. I'll take the fourth student to the fifth student. I found that fourth one is taller. I'll just keep fourth. I'll go to sixth. Similarly, by comparing, at the end when I will compare with the 10th student, finally to whom I have picked up or I have kept, that is the tallest student. Clear? So similarly, I will apply the same logic in programming. How? I will declare one array. Okay. I will declare one array. I will use a large variable. I will use index. Okay. Index variable. Clear? And one more, like last example we have used size variable. Clear? Now, like the last program, you take the input for size first. Already you have discussed that you just take the input for size variable. On the basis of size variable, you take the array input. Clear? This much already in 2 examples we have written how to take input for size, how to take input for array. Clear? Done. Then once your input is over, okay. So for example, this is my array. Till now what I have done, I have declared the array, and on the basis of size variable, let the size variable is having value 5. Clear? On the basis of 5, I have taken input into the array. Okay. How? Now index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Memory location suppose 1000, 1004, 1008, 1012, 1016. Clear? Name is error, and I have taken the inputs of 30, 10, 50, 70, 40. These are the values I have taken as input. Okay. So till now I have done up to this much. Okay. Next, what I will do? I have told you that I am assuming the first value is the largest one. So I have kept in a variable. How to get the first value? Now array of 0. Array of 0 means which one? The 30. So I have assigned 30 as the 30 is containing the largest value. Okay. So I will start comparing. I will start comparing for which index? I will start comparing from index 1, because 0th index is already present with me. So I will start comparing from the index 1. So what I will write? Now for index equal to 1, index will continue till size, because this is dependent on size. Index plus plus. Clear? I'll compare if the new value means index is changing, so in array of index will give me the new value is greater than whom? My assumption. What I have assumed, the large variable is keeping the largest element, but I am comparing. See, now index will change. So every array index will give you the new value. Every new value I am comparing the large. If the new value is larger than the large, so I will assign large equal to array of index. Clear? Now check how the execution will be done. Okay. So I have assigned large as 30. Clear? I am comparing from index 1. So 1. What is my size of array? 5. 1 less than 5. True or false? True. Enter array of 1. What is array of 1? The array of 1 is 10. What is my large? Large is 30. 10 greater than 30. False. False means don't enter to the if block. Just go and increment your index. Index means now it become 2. 2 less than 5. True. Enter. I am checking array of 2. What is array of 2? Array of 2 is 50. So 50 greater than 30. True. True means enter to the if block. Now array of index is 50. That I am answering to large. So initially I have assumed 30 is is the largest one. Now I got 50 is largest one. Okay. After that, come out of the if, then increment the index. Index will become 3. 3 less than 5, true. Enter. Check. Array of 3. What is array of 3? 70. 70 greater than. Now what is my large? Large is 50. So 70 greater than 50. True. True means enter to the if block. My array of index is 70. Assigned to large. So now large is keeping the value 70. Okay. Again go to increment the index. Now index will become 4. 4 less than 5. True. Again enter. Array of 4. Array of 4 means what? 40. What is my large currently? 70. 40 greater than 70. False. Don't enter to if block. Come out. Increment the index. Now index will become 5. 5 less than 5. False. False means come out of the for. Okay. Outside the for loop, I am printing. Printed largest value in the array is percentage d. Who is having the largest value? My large variable. So print the value of large. Clear? So this is very simple. Once you write down the program in simple way by using a single variable, now you can convert it into array, because array means you are storing multiple values and you have to take the help of one loop where index will only change. Clear? So this is simple, declaring array and how to operate array. Okay. Now, yesterday you have studied function. Clear? Yesterday you have studied function, how to use function, all of you know. Then you have done some assignment also. You have passed some values. Okay. I will write down the same program by using function. Clear? I will write down the same program of array using function. How to do that? Okay. Now how to write the program by using function? All of you just check. The same program, this program, find the largest among n numbers. This program I want to write down by using function. Okay. Now check. After this program, we will go for 5 minutes of break. Now check. The array program, how to write by using function. So what I have discussed in function class, whatever the input, whatever is your requirement, the input, everything will take inside main, and then you will provide everything to the function. Okay. So what is my requirement first? Now my requirement is one array that I have declared. Size is the requirement. Index is to take input. Clear? Then size, you will take input. Simple. Once you will take the input for size, you can take the input for array. What is my array? Now error, you take the input based upon size. This much all of you have understood how to take input for size, how to take input to the array by using size. Okay. I am giving the function name as largest. Okay. So I am giving instruction to the function that you find largest number from this array. Okay. Because I have to search somewhere, I have to find the largest, I have to find the largest in array. So I have to pass the array name. Okay. Maximum, how much I will search? I will search depending upon the size variable. Clear? So that means the meaning of this function is, I am calling a function largest. Okay, it's a user defined function. I am giving instruction that you have to search the largest from this array, and maximum you have to search in this size, because I am dealing, or I have taken the input based upon this size variable. Okay. Now whenever I will call a function, I am passing the argument. I have to write down the definition. So write down the definition. Am I expecting any value here? No. So my return type will be what? What is the function name? The largest. Okay. What I am passing here? Array. Now, till yesterday, we have understood call by value, call by address. There, you are passing a single variable, you are catching with another single variable. You are passing the single address, you are catching with another address. But what you are passing here, you are passing, not passing a single value, you are passing an array. Okay. So whenever you pass an array, you have to catch with another array, and on the basis of the type of the array. What is the type? Integer. So I have to catch with int another array. I can give the same name, I can give a different name also. Suppose I am giving a different name. This part during declaration cannot be blank. Remember, array of this bracket, this value cannot be blank during the declaration time. But while catching in function, you can keep the value blank in 1D array. Okay. This is a single dimensional array. So while passing the array in function, only the name is sufficient. Name is required. While catching, you have to specify which kind of array, and you have to catch with another array. But this place, if I write 30, it's okay. If I not write anything, that is also okay. Okay. Next, what I am passing? Size variable. Size is a single integer variable. I can write the same name. Not a problem. Clear? Understood? While calling the function and I am passing the array, I will pass the array name only and the size of the array. Okay? Because the size is only known inside the main function. Once I will go outside the main function, the size is undeclared. So I have to specify that I will do the operation in an array maximum up to what size. Clear? Siddharth? Okay. So I will pass the array, I will catch with another array, I will pass the size, I will catch the size. Okay. So this size, this size both are different, but their values are same. Okay. That is already we have discussed in formal argument, actual argument. Now what I need to write here? I need to find the largest number. Okay. So in the last program, we have found the largest from what? This program, this loop, and this printed statement. Whatever. Okay. So this part is actually input, and you are passing through function. This part, after this blue line, whatever the things you have written, that is the processing to find the largest one. That I have to write down here. Okay. Nothing is there. Already we are having the value. So I am assuming array of 1, 0 is the largest one. Clear? Then I'll start. What I'll write? Index equal to 1, but index is declared inside main. It is not declared inside largest. Clear? So I have to declare the index variable again. Okay? Otherwise I cannot use. So index equal to 1, index, and now the logic is totally same like the previous one. Index plus plus. Okay. Now you know the logic to find largest that we have discussed earlier. Okay. After Manoj. Okay. Now after this loop, you printed largest %d, and what is the variable name? Here. Done? Understood? Whatever the things you have taken input, In main, you pass through the function. Clear? Done. And after that, what you need to do? Okay. What you need to do? You need to pass through function. You will catch through another variables in the function definition and write down the total logic processing, whatever you are doing earlier inside the function definition. Okay. Now you need to provide the function declaration of prototype. What will be the prototype? Void, the return type, function name. In call by address, what you are writing? Integer star, because I am using a integer pointer variable. Here what I am using? I am using one integer array. So int space square bracket. It will specify that in my function definition I am operating one integer array, and along with that one single integer variable. Clear? This is what the function prototype. Clear? Okay. Done. Now you have understood the same program we have written by using function. Clear? Okay. So now coming to the class. Till now we have discussed regarding one-dimensional array, how to store value, how to display it, how to do the operations. Few more assignments will be given where you can use your brain. You can try the concept of array. But normally in school or colleges or in real-time research problems, we deal with two-dimensional arrays. Okay, or matrix operations. Clear? Where the indexing will be done like this: 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. Clear? That means what is two-dimensional array? It's a collection of one-dimensional array. Clear? So this is one-dimensional array. This is another one-dimensional array. This is 0th row. This is first row. Okay. So that means here, while teaching you nested loop, I have told you that the same concept you will use in matrix operations. Okay. Now how you can use that concept? Now check. For two-dimensional array, you have to declare with two dimensions. Okay, one for row, one for column. Okay, so the first one is for row, second one you are using for column. Clear? Okay, like you are declaring the size in 1D array, you can declare here also row, column. Okay, and to operate both the arrays for taking input, let me tell you, take two variables. One is I, second one is j. Okay. So before going to the program, first I have to ask the user what is the total row and column. Yes or no? Enter total rows and columns. Okay. So I will take the input here. Whatever the user will take input, I will store in row variable. I will store in column variable. Okay. According to the row and column value, I will take the input. But here in the nested loop, one will be used as outer loop, one will be used as inner loop. Now we have decided for a single value of outer loop, the inner loop will execute repeatedly. Clear? So here you have to check whether for a single value of row, column is changing repeatedly, or for a single value of column, row is changing repeatedly. Now the answer will come for a single value of row, the column is changing repeatedly. For row number 0, column is 0, 1, 2. For row number 1, column is 0, 1, 2. Okay. So the outer loop will be for row. So for I equal to 0, I will maximum go as per our requirement row I plus plus. Then inner loop will be column. So j equal to 0, j less than column j plus plus. Okay. And here I will take the input printf. Okay. Printf. Enter value. Okay. So I have taken the input. How? Now scanf percentage d ampersand. What is the array name? ARR. But here I will add I and j. Here. Means what? Let's execute this one so that you can understand. Okay. So initially I equal to 0. Then total row suppose I have taken as input 2 and column I have taken as input 3. As for this diagram, okay. So row will go maximum 2, column will go maximum 3. I have started with 0. So 0 less than 2. True or false? True. True means you are entering. Now the inner loop will execute. J you are starting from 0. 0 less than 3. True. So enter value. Whatever the value, suppose you are entering the value 10. 10 value you will store where? Now I is my 0. J is also currently 0. So array of 0 0's address. What is my array of 0 0? Now this is the block which is represented by array of 0 0. So that address I will specify here. Okay, so internally. So 10 will go to the first row, first column location. Okay. After that, j will be incremented to 1. Now 1 less than 3, true. Enter the value. Suppose I am entering 20. 20 will store where? I value is still 0, but j value is 1. That means the 0, 1 index address will be specified. So 20 will be stored there. Here. Okay. After that, again j plus plus, j will become 2. 2 less than 3, true. Again enter. Suppose I want to store value 30. Where? In 0, 2 index. Okay. So 0, 2 index is this one. Its address will be specified. So 30 will be stored there. After that, 2 will be incremented to 3. 3 less than 3, false. And also you can check the first row is also over. Okay. Once this condition is false, you will come out of the inner for loop. Now outer for loop, I plus plus will be done. I was initially 0, now it will become 1. 1 less than 2, true. True means whenever I equal to 1, I am entering, j will again start from 0. Column value is what? The 3. 0 less than 3, true. Suppose I am entering the value 50. Okay. So now 50 will be stored where? Clear? How I will specify? Now I am specifying I value is 1, j value is 0. So value I am entering 60. So where it will go? My array of 10 index. So this is what my array of 10. So there I am storing the value 60. Here again j plus plus, j will become 1. 1 less than 3, true. True means again enter the value. Suppose I am entering 70. Where it will go? It will go to array of 1 1. Okay. So 70 will go to 1 1. After that, j will be incremented to 2. 2 less than 3, true. enter. Suppose I want to enter 80, it will go to array of 1, 2. So 1, 2 index address is specified and value will be stored at array of 1, 2. Clear? That's why this address we are specified. Done. After that, 3 less than 3 false. I'll come out of the inner for loop. After that, I will be incremented. I will become 2. 2 less than 2 false. I'll come out of the outer for loop. That means my matrix input is over. Okay? Like in 1D array, you are using a single for loop. For 1-dimensional array, for 2-dimensional array, you are using a nested loop. Loop inside loop. Okay? How to display the values? That is again important. Clear? So I'll display the values. Printf values are okay. So whenever I display, again I will start from 0th index. So the same 2 loops again I will start. I equal to 0, I less than row, I plus plus, because one dependent on row value. The inner loop is dependent on column value. And what I'll print? Now just I'll remove ampersand. So print percentage D array of I. Okay. Then bracket close. This is the inner loop will be closed. Now check. I am telling you this inner loop means what? A complete row. For a single row value, column is changing means you are dealing with a single row by using the inner loop. If I need to print my value in a matrix format, clear? I have to write outside this inner for loop the printed /n. Okay, so that before going to the outer loop, my control will come to the next line and the next row will be printed in the second line. If there are 5 rows, so it will come in a matrix format because of this /n. Clear? Okay. So in 2D array, you are first specifying the array declaration with multiple ties. Then you are taking the input for row and column, input over. Okay. And then you are using nested loop to take the input for the 2D array. Okay, 2-dimensional array. And then you are using again 2 loops for to display the values. Okay. So today your task is to understand what is 1D array, how to do the operations. Okay. Just go through it, understand it. Then pass the values by using function. You know how to pass the value of array to be passed in function. Clear? Next, you have to understand what is 2D array. Then you have to understand what is 2D array, how the declarations will be done, how the values will be taken as input, how it will be displayed. Okay. So in 2-dimensional array, if you need to find or you need to do any operation, you have to definitely use 2 loops, nested loop, because you are dealing with rows and column both. Okay. Suppose like 1D array, you have found out the sum of numbers of 1D array. You are using a single loop. You are writing sum equal to sum plus array of I. Okay. If the same question is applicable for 2-dimensional array, then you have to use 2 loops first after input. Yes or no? Because row wise you have to search one by one value, and after using 2 loops. Okay. So after using 2 loops, then clear. Just I am writing in a rough way. After using 2 loops, here you will do the processing and then over. Clear? So any 2D array operations, you have to use these 2 loops frequently. Clear? Okay. So just discuss with the tutor so that you can get a better idea, because any 2-dimensional array program, you have to use these 2 loops, because one for row, one for your column. Clear? Okay. Okay. Now, on the basis of yesterday's class, one concept time didn't permit, that I am discussing today. Okay, recursion, function recursion. What is the meaning of function recursion? Okay, function recursion means simple. A function, okay, a function that calls itself. Yeah, a function that calls itself. Okay, what is the meaning of that? Suppose I am writing main. Okay, printf hello. Then I am writing main again. What I am doing? I am calling main inside main. So this is known as function recursion. Clear? But remember, whenever a function calls itself, it doesn't mean the same body gets executed. No. Once you are calling a function means another definition is there where the entire code will be replaced. Means printf hello. Okay. And again, because the entire code will be replaced. So it doesn't mean that one function calls itself means it calls to its the same body. No, the same body it never executes. Okay, what it does? It calls, it's okay, but another body will be executed, and another body means the same code will be replaced in another place. Now here, what will be the output? First, it will enter to the main. Hello will be printed. Okay, first output. Now it's called main. Again, one more body will execute. Second time, hello will be printed. Again, I am calling main. Again, one more time, hello. So it's an infinite loop. Clear? Because no end is here. Every function will call to itself. Number of body will be there. Every time, hello, hello, hello will be the output. The objective of telling this example is here main is calling itself means you are going for the concept of function recursion. Clear? Okay. So let me explain through one example so that you can understand. One program I am writing without recursion but using function, and the same program I will convert to function recursion. Okay. Let the program is write a program to find factorial. Okay, so factorial of a number. Factorial of a number. Clear? Write a program to find the factorial of a number. By using function, what I'll write? Inside main, I'll first of all I'll declare. Yes or no? Integer number. I'll declare. Not a problem. Suppose I need the result in return. Okay. So we'll understand the concept of return also here again. So suppose res. Clear? Here what I have done, first I have taken input for number. Printf scanner by using, I am taking the input for number. Okay. Then I am writing res equal to factorial, and inside that I am passing the variable number. So what is the objective? Factorial is a user defined function. Now I will write where I am passing the variable number, means I am giving the instruction you find the factorial of number, and after finding you give me the result what I will store in res variable. So to get the result, let me write down here printf %d res. So I'll print the value. Okay. Now I'll write down the definition int factorial. Okay. I'll catch the variable. Let I am giving the same name. How to find the factorial, all of you? Factorial means 5 factorial. How to find 5 factorial? Is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Whatever the result I'll get, that is my factorial. Yes or no? Okay. So here I have to find the same thing. Okay. So what I'll check? While my number. Okay. So I have continued till what? 1. Clear? That means while my number is not equal to 0, fact equal to fact into number. Okay, then number minus minus. Simple. How? Let's check. Suppose I have passed the value of 5. So 5 has come here. I am checking 5 not equal to 0. True. So fact is initially 1. Number is 5. 5 into 1, 5. After that, number minus minus, value will become 4. Clear? Again, while loop means again the condition will be tested. So in place of 5, it will become 4. 4 not equal to 0. True. Enter. Fact is currently 5. Number is currently 4. So 5 into 4, 20. Again minus minus, value will become 3. Clear? Once again, now 4 will become 3. 3 not equal to 0. True. Fact is currently 20. Number is currently 3. So 20 into 3, 60. Again number minus minus, value will become 2. Check. 2 not equal to 0. True. Enter. Fact is currently 60. 60 into 2. How much? 120. So 120. After that, number minus minus 1. 1 not equal to 0. True. Enter. Fact is currently 120. Number is currently 1. 120 into 1, same 120. Number minus minus, now number will become 0. Here 0 not equal to 0, false. Come out. After coming out, I will write return fact. So whatever the result is present, that I am returning. So once the result will be returned, it will check. Return type is integer. Assigned to factorial. I have passed 5. So 120 has been returned. It will be assigned to RES. So RES is now 120. Print the value 120. And prototype, all of you know, int factorial. What is the value? Int. Clear? So I have found out the factorial of a number by using function. Clear? Now what is recursion? How I will write down the same program by using recursion. Okay. Now remember, in recursion, clear? The entire main function, whatever you have written, the entire main function is same here. Clear? It will not change at all. You will take that input or number, you will declare a variable which will accept the result. Okay, the result equal to, you will call the function, then you will, after that you will print that one. Totally same. Whatever you have written in function, the same format you have to write down inside the main function. Okay. Now if this one will be same, your prototype will also be same. Same prototype. Clear? I am just comparing with the program by using function and function using recursion. Okay. So I'll define int factorial integer number. Okay. So what I'll write here? Check. So what is the factorial of 1? 1. Factorial of 0, also 1. Okay. So I'll check here if number equal to 1 or number equal to 0, then return 1. Okay. Else. So basically I am replacing the loop with if else. Here I am replacing the loop of function with if else. That is not function recursion. But what I will write here, okay? Fact equal to number into. Now actually, how to think for recursion? Check. 5 factorial is actually what? 5 into factorial of 4. Yes or no? What is factorial of 4? That is 4 into factorial of 3. What is 3 factorial? 3 into 2 factorial. What is the factorial of n? What is the factorial of number? The factorial of number is actually, suppose I don't want to calculate. I want to leave the entire system on the language that you solve the problem for myself. Okay? So factorial of number means, as for the example of 5 factorial I have written above, I can write factorial of number minus 1. Yes or no? Clear? Fact equal to number into factorial of number minus 1. Okay? And after that, I will write return fact. Clear? Okay? So that means I know that suppose I have entered 5. Okay? Suppose I have entered 5 here. It will check number is not equal to 1 or 0. So it will come here. So this is like 5 into factorial of 4. Means I am calling the same function. Clear? I am calling the same function inside the same function. Means I am calling factorial inside factorial. So factorial 4 I am again calling. But remember, the same body will never execute. Okay? One different body will execute. The writing style is this one for function recursion. But how it is executing. Okay? Have you understood? I will tell you how this executes. Okay? Check. I am just telling you the sequence. So inside main, I have called res. I am not declaring again. I am just writing the skeleton of the program. Res equal to factorial of 5. Clear? I have come to the program and I am catching 5. Okay? I am just writing the execution part, not the program. So 5 I have passed, I am catching also 5. Here, the if part will never execute. Yes or no? If I am catching 5, if part will be false, so obviously it will come to the else part. So in the else part, leave the if part. In the else part, it is written fact equal to 5 into factorial of 4. Clear? Then here it is written return fact. Simple. This is what you have written in program. In the background, how the recursion executes. All of you listen, this is very important. Okay. Now once you call factorial of 4, okay. So one more body will execute internally, whose body will be like this: int factorial. This is the internal part. You don't need to write 4. Again, as for the code, the if part will be false. Yes or no? If the if part will be false, forget about the if part. It will come to the else part. What the else part will execute here? Now fact equal to 4 into factorial three. Clear? Then return fact. Understood? That once factorial of 3 will be called. Yeah, once factorial of 3 will be called, internally one more body will execute. What will execute? Int factorial 3. Clear? Again, its if part is not going to be executed, its else part will execute. What it is written? Fact equal to three into factorial of 2. Return fact. Understand it perfectly, okay? Over. One more function over. Now, once factorial of 2 will be called, one more body internally. So int factorial, what value it will catch? 2. Its if part is not going to be executed because number is not 0 or 1. So else fact equal to 2 into factorial within bracket 1 return fact. Yeah. Then now once factorial of 1 will be called, the last body, okay, according to our example. Now int factorial, it will catch what? 1. Now here the if condition will be true because the number I am catching is equal to 1. So what it will return? Return 1. Its if part will execute. Okay. Now return 1. Where to return? We have discussed in function chapter that from which function the call will come, the control will come. Again, it will return to that particular block. Okay. So return 1 means it will return to that who has called. So this factorial of 1 has called, so it will be returned with value 1. Now 1 into 2, what is the value? 2. Return fact, whom it will return? Now anyone who has called it. Who has called it? This one. So this factorial of 2 has called, so 2 will be returned here. 2 into 3, 6. Return to whom? Now from where it has been called? Here it has been called. Factorial of 3 I have called. Okay. So this value will come as 6. 6 into 4, 24. Return fact. So return fact to whom? Now anyone who has called. So factorial of 4 I have called. Okay. So this will become 24. 24 into 5, 120. 120 will be returned to anyone who has called. Who has called? Now from main function I have called factorial of 5. So 120. Assign to result and print here 120. Clear? Okay. So this is what a function recursion. Most of the time various teachers have taught in various books, but you will not understand what is function recursion. Everyone says that function recursion means a function which calls to itself. That is the only line. And what we understand that function recursion means the same body gets executed every time. No, it depends on the input. What input you are providing. On the basis of input, the total number of blocks are being decided internally, and for every input, the block will be different. Okay, and the value in the sequence. See, this is the first sequence I have called 1. This is the second function. This is the third function, fourth function, fifth function, and this is the sixth one. Clear? This is what the sequence of my function call. What is the sequence? Now 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Okay. So in function call, this is what the sequence I have maintained during the function call. And when the value has been returned, what is the sequence? The reverse one. Okay. In the reverse order, the value will be returned. This is what function recursion. Function recursion means you are calling the same function inside the same function, but the same body never gets executed. It's the different body. How many total number of function definition will be executed? It depends on the input. So what kind of input you are taking? Okay. So on the basis of the input, now the sequence of functions will be called, and in the reverse sequence, the output will be returned. That is the work of the return statement. Here, okay.